Thanks so much, Gail. You know that children's game where they show you three things and they ask you which one doesn't fit? We just had a world-class investigator, a truly world-class surgeon scientist, and now me. So I'm going to let you make your own decisions as to which one doesn't fit. I thank the Thoracic Surgery Club for the opportunity to speak, to let you know what's going on with the STS. I'm happy to answer any questions at the end. As you know, we were founded in 1964, and it continues to be a vital and evolving society. Basics, let's go to the basics. This is the last time I'm going to be actually serious during this talk. This is the mission, and as dumb as it sounds, we have had multiple meetings trying to identify exactly what it is we want to accomplish as a society, and it is to enhance the ability of CT surgeons to provide the highest quality of patient care through education, research, and advocacy. We have been working hard in all those areas and continue to do so, and actually look for all your help to let us further that goal. Thought that, first of all, I couldn't figure out what that was when Natalie Bowden sent that to me. I thought it was like a map of the plague in the Middle Ages as it spread, and it turned out not to be. What it really turned out to be was the 7,300 members in 95 countries. You'll see, you remember that Doug Wood's in the audience, Mark Allen. They have been particular failures in their time, because you can see Greenland has no members, Mongolia has no members. I pledge to get Mongolian and Greenland members by the time we're done. Thank you. Membership by gender and discipline. These reflect actually those 7,300 members and the people who told us about their discipline. Worldwide, about 10% of cardiothoracic surgeons are females. You know that in the United States, it's probably a little lower. We're in the 7, 8, 9% region. So our European counterparts are doing a little better than us in welcoming in our sisters. 56% worldwide self-identify as adult cardiac surgeons, 18% as general thoracic surgeons, 8% congenital, and 16% is mixed. So we continue to be, in general thoracic, continue to be, though a minority, a very important minority. We have a huge role to play, especially given the epidemic of lung cancer that we're facing across the world. You're going to hear about the opioid epidemic in a talk later today. Hopefully you all have received in your email and hopefully have sent back a survey on the opioid epidemic. You know that it kills more people than either gun violence or all the auto accidents in the United States. We have a role to play because we make probably the single most painful incision on the human body. We're doing a lot of thoracoscopy, but we know even those hurt. So we actually do routinely and appropriately prescribe opioids. But as you know, post-thoracotomy pain is not rare. We do have to use opioids for sometimes weeks, sometimes even months, and we need to optimize our opioid utilization so that we are not part of the problem. Therefore, we got to know where we are starting off with if we're gonna make any plans. So you will all have received an opioid survey. It is a pain in the ass to fill out. It will take you 15 minutes, but I would ask you to just do that. It's not just for the benefit of the society, it's for the benefit of your patients. We've got to get better at opioid management and post-operative management, and we're going to need your help to do it. Meetings, we put on a lot of meetings, and you feel like this with some meetings. Not this meeting, of course, but with a lot of meetings. We're going to put on, we'll do this by the calendar. The next meeting we're going to put on, and I'm actually focusing on general thoracic, is the Symposium on Robotic Thoracic Surgery. That's in May in Chicago. One of the lead speakers there is going to be Bob Zarfolio, and that's Rob in his new getup. He doesn't actually do anything for him, but he thinks he looks so cool in it. He'll be wearing it out there if you'd like to ask him to put it on, and he's going to be one of the star speakers there. We are actually now partnering with the Shanghai Medical Association. Back in the back there, in the little tuft of white hair in the back, is Doug Mathieson, who's been the lead negotiator for this. He's been working with the Chinese surgeons to put on a joint joint symposium, we are going to be working with this with both the European Society of Thoracic Surgeons and the EACTS. We're going to put a multi-day, probably 2 to 3 day symposium on in Shanghai in conjunction with the Shanghai Chest Hospitals, 2 of the major ones there. So we are taking a giant step internationally in terms of education. The SCS has also taken over the Society of Critical Care Thoracic Surgery meeting. It's a meeting that's been happening every year for the past decade or so, but we think that it's going to be important for all our members to participate in thoracic critical care. It is for your payment and a significant portion of what you get paid in the post-operative period, as Frank Nichols will be happy to explain to you. And critical care continues to be a vital part of our specialty, and we will have a yearly meeting covering that. Similar to that Shanghai meeting, we will also be meeting with the Chinese Society of Thoracic and Cardiovascular Surgery. This is not just general thoracic. This is adult cardiac congenital and general thoracic. We've been doing this now, this will be the 3rd year. It's in conjunction with the Chinese Medical Association. The EACTS sends 6 members. We send 6 members, 2 thoracic, 2 adult cardiac, 2 congenital. And it is actually an outstanding meeting and one that if you happen to be in Shenyang, China in October, you ought to participate in. 2019 meetings, multidisciplinary cancer meeting. We have a meeting every 2 years. We meet with it's a combination of ASTRO, ASCO, and STS, so we get all 3 major treatment modalities, the specialties representing those together. This next one is going to be in San Diego in 2019. It can be very difficult because it's such a big meeting with so many specialties. It's hard to tell one from another, but if you're walking around and you see somebody that looks like a kind of a geeky Trekkie, you can almost be certain that's an ASTRO member. If you see somebody who's a wildly maniacal, kind of sniveling villain, you almost certainly know that's a medical chemotherapist. And certainly the surgeons are very easy to spot at the meeting. Next meeting, thoracic. So we're moving now from China and from the home front, we're now going down to Latin America. We are going to be working with the Brazilian Society of Thoracic Surgery. This was actually the brainchild first of Joe Bavaria, who during his presidency last year really worked very, very hard 2 years ago, actually, before Rich Breaker, worked very, very hard to set up a meeting, a cardiac meeting in Cartagena, in conjunction with the Latin American groups, and it was highly successful. I asked Joe where he got the idea, and he actually got the idea during Mark Allen's presidency when we were on horses wearing sombreros down in the Southwest, and he got the idea and thought it was a great idea. He convinced Mark Allen that we should be doing this for general thoracic as well. And I was the one who was sort of holding out and I said, I don't think it's necessarily a great idea. And Mark Allen then convinced me. So I'm in on it full bore now. So what we really are going to be doing is we are going to be working with, once again, STS and EACTS will be in on this. The very first one will be in 2019. It will be a one-day symposium in conjunction with the Brazilian Society. And in the following year, the Brazilian Society is every other year. In the following year, we will actually have a freestanding meeting with ESTS, EACTS, STS, and these 7 major thoracic societies. They're fairly balkanized down there in Latin America to put on a huge Latin American general thoracic meeting. So that's really going to be very exciting. Naturally, SCS, every year we have our own sessions in general thoracic surgery, both at STS University, at TechCon. You can see Surf up there during his Shark Tank, doing his usual winning performance. We work very hard to make certain that general thoracic surgery is not forgotten at that meeting. The next meeting will be in San Diego in January 2019. There are going to be some changes during that meeting. First of all, it's going to be a shorter meeting. We are actually trying to compress it a little bit. It will start on Saturday and end on Tuesday. There will be no Wednesday component of the meeting. We have had a number of requests over the years to shorten the meeting just because people are having a hard time taking that much time off. It will be all digital. We are coming into the 21st century. We will not be killing more trees. The ESTS, the EACTS are already all digital. It will be on your smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, shame on you. Buy a goddamn smartphone because you're going to need it. And lastly, it's going to be a compressed social program, just like it was last year. We used to have a presidential dinner, a past president's dinner, a president's reception, and a gala dinner. And now we are going to actually compress the president's reception and the gala dinner. And the industry loves that because it gives them an extra night to take people out to wine them and dine them. And I think last year it was it worked out very well. I've also made some personal design recommendations for the podium up front because I think we need to highlight the officers a little more effectively, and you'll see that there will be some changes at the new meeting. The Annals of Thoracic Surgery continues to be an outstanding journal. It continues to be in print. God knows how long that's going to be. Every meeting they have, they question whether or not we're going to be able to eventually convert it just to digital and get rid of the print version. But for the foreseeable future, you will continue to get a paper copy. For general thoracic, it's got, if you need CME, it's got great CMEs. You can read the articles, get them done. You can get literally hours of CME in relatively few minutes, and it's a great option for you. We also have different educational options, webinars, this one on minimally invasive lobectomy for lung cancer. So we continue to provide you as much education in as many different ways as we can. Patient safety and education continue to be focal points for the society. This is the patient safety card. If you don't use a checklist, this is a good one to consider using. It has a pre, an intra, and a post-operative component. It's very thorough, and it actually does, and everybody hems and haws and says, oh, I don't need that crap, I don't need it, but you will find that 2 or 3 times a year, this will come and save your bacon, and it is really worthwhile to use. Probably the most important thing we do with regard to patient safety is run this quality improvement database. We now have 285 sites, about 976 participating surgeons, and over 500,000 procedure records within it. This is what's going to allow us to hone and focus our own skills and make us safer. Currently, as you know, that the database participants that you can voluntarily publicly report and get star ratings for your morbidity and mortality ratings for lung cancer lobectomy. Those can be reported in collaboration with the Consumer Reports and also are used for the hospital ratings for U.S. News and World Reports. Once again, lots of different ways you can help. We have videos and podcasts. They're available not just on the STS website, but on YouTube, iTunes. We are a happening group. Oh, happening, yeah. And this is mostly thanks to people like, Tom Verghese, Dave Cook, Shanda Blackman. Actually, the happening people, the members of the society who are trying to keep old people as current as they possibly can. We have press releases and press conferences. I will note that at this last meeting, Rich Prager gave 3 Distinguished Service Awards, and 2 of them went to general thoracic surgeons, Cam Wright, and yes, to our own Frank Nichols. He is not just your audio-visual man. He is also the man who gets you paid every damn day you operate. That man has been for over a decade spending literally 2 weeks of his time away from work at the CPT and the RUC meeting, making certain that the government doesn't screw us. And Frank, you deserve a round of applause. Stand up, Frank. Stand up. Yes. And it's folks like Frank. The volunteer leadership, they're like almost 400 strong now. A lot of people, most of whom don't get credit. They're not like publicity hogs like Surf or me standing up here at the microphone, but they're the ones that actually make this damn organization run. CTsurgerypatients.org is a great website under Robin Cohen. It's been actually revamped, and we now have, is available in English and Spanish. And the amazing thing was we did it in Spanish because we thought we'd get a lot of Hispanic Americans coming to it. Now we have a huge international group. We got lots more international hits from Hispanic companies coming and looking at this information. We collaborate with the CHEST, with the NCCN, Lung Cancer Alliance on any number of projects. So probably the most recent example is a patient handout we put together with the CHEST Foundation, looking for lung cancer patients for navigating lung cancer, because as you know, it can be very difficult for them. We continue to advocate for patients in Washington, D.C. One of the best options, if you really want to have some effect on your local congressman, if you can have a local visit, if you can set up for your senator or your congressman to visit your institution and see what it takes to provide high quality care to the patients, it's one of the most compelling and effective tools we have to convince them that we are doing God's work. There are also the legislative fly-ins twice a year. We will ask members to, both attendings and residents, to fly in and meet with their congresspeople, especially when we have specific items on the agenda, legislative agenda, trying to get things passed. And last but not least, as you know, the TSFRE has now actually become part of the STS. It's under the STS Administrative Services. It's actually a separate 503C corporation. Rob's in the back. He's going to tell me how wrong I am with that, but one of those C thingy corporations. But I would ask you to consider giving to this throughout the year. This is why the information you just saw, the kind of research information you just saw, can come about. It's because it's these research dollars that keep our young trainees interested in academics. That's how we continue to make progress within the field of thoracic surgery. We need your dollars, because without your dollars, we can't give out research dollars. And with regard to research dollars, we just want to make it rain. We want to make it rain. So that's actually the STS right in a nutshell right there. Rob Winbrandt's going to kill me. So that's a short snapshot of what we're doing with the STS educationally and otherwise. We'll be happy to answer any questions we can. Rob Winbrandt is here, both myself, all the past presidents. Frank Nichols knows all about the coding information. Anytime you want to know if we're actually just sitting on our butts or actually doing something for you, come talk to us, because we are willing to talk about it anytime. Thanks so much.